Okay, moving on, we have our next session in Stream 1 around how a one-time family pressed go in the nick of time. Today we are joined by Elise from Bingo Industries as well as Claire from their partner Rizing. Elise and Claire will be discussing how Bingo Industries leverage success factors and data to drive business-focused outcomes, all whilst growing the business. Elise and Claire will be joining us for live Q&A after. So again, please add any questions to the chat during the session. Elise and Claire's video is coming up in just a few seconds.
My name's Elise Hayden. I'm the Chief People and Culture Officer at Bingo Industries. Bingo is a vertically integrated waste management company that listed on the ASX just over 3 years ago. Prior to this, we were a family-owned company and very true to our family roots. We operate mainly in the building and demolition and commercial and industrial sectors of waste. We also have a bin manufacturing business that supports us. Our vision is a waste-free Australia. We push every day to contribute to achieving this through our recycling-led solutions. We operate a large fleet of 350 collections vehicles, and over the past 3 years, our recycling centres have moved from representing half of our EBITDA to 2/3 of our EBITDA, supporting our vision for a waste-free Australia. As a newly listed organisation 3 years ago, Bingo was still very much a family-owned business at heart and had a huge growth agenda ahead of it. We were becoming even more geographically dispersed, moving into Victoria, and there was many acquisitions on the horizon. Our employee numbers grew. They grew from 595 to just over 1,100 in the space of just 2 years, and we've now settled at around 1,000 employees. There were basic HR practices in place, but being listed and having a growth agenda ahead of us, we knew we needed to improve our systems and processes, particularly from a governance perspective. We also needed to shift the role of HR in the business, from hiring and firing to a business partner that provided strategic and commercial input into everyday decisions. In my first couple of months at Bingo, I remember my boss at the time coming back from a leadership team meeting. I had just published my first monthly people report with many metrics that hadn't been seen before. It took a week to compile, and I'm sure there were errors in it because of the data sources that we were pulling from. My boss said that there'd been a discussion during the meeting and our CEO had made a comment to them that he really didn't give a flying fish, which we all thought was funny. But my boss then asked the CEO, "Have you just read Elise's people report?" To which he laughed and said yes, he'd seen the jumping fish that I'd put in it. I'd included some infographics, and to represent the significant amount of employee turnover that we had at the time, I included an image of a goldfish jumping from one bowl to another. Employee turnover has been a huge focus of ours ever since. The business now understands the cost of recruiting and replacing employees even better, and our turnover rate has declined rapidly. From that moment, I knew that I could let the data do the talking, but with our very manual process, it was far too time-consuming to consistently make an impact. I had used SuccessFactors at a prior organisation and knew what a difference it could make for us. Culturally, it would also be a big shift. Providing leaders with access to an array of information about their employees that they'd never seen in the past was going to take some trust and change management. New governance provisions would also be culturally challenging, but a necessary step. This is when I was introduced to Rizing and our SuccessFactors journey began.
My name's Claire Badger and I'm the Talent Practice Director at Rizing. We partnered with Bingo around 18 months ago to deliver our end-to-end SuccessFactors solution, managing their hire to retire process. When we came to work with Elise and the team at Bingo, they were looking for a vanilla set of processes that they could adopt and run with. So Rizing came to the table with their SAP verified package solution, Synchrony People and Payroll, which leverages end-to-end leading practices. We were focusing around core HR or Employee Central, payroll, recruitment, onboarding, learning management, performance and goals, compensation and succession. It was great working with the Bingo team led by Elise, who had a very strong vision around mobility and employee experience. Having such a diverse workforce like Bingo do, all of their design decisions were led by the fact that they wanted their teams to access by mobile. And that really challenged us at Rizing to make sure that we had that principle in mind in every design decision that we made. What made our implementation so successful was the partnership that was formed between Rizing and Bingo. We really feel like we're an extension to their team. We're so proud of everything that we've achieved, particularly facilitating a go live through such a challenging period.
We went live with SuccessFactors EC and ECP during the very first week of COVID-19 restrictions. Social distancing came into effect as well as work from home. Our carefully planned change and training initiatives were very quickly thrown out the window. It was a brave decision to press the go button, but I am so glad that we did. It's enabled us to make better, more strategic decisions and give our business and our people timely access to information, processes, and support during a really challenging time. Basic functions that we sometimes struggled with in the past and were also incredibly time-consuming, like operational and financial data that was difficult to access and to reconcile, was now a centralised repository. Going live with SAP SuccessFactors helped keep our employees informed and safe during this widespread global pandemic. We recognised the importance of mobility for our employees and prioritised remote access and user experience during this time. Facing an increase in employees working from home and other changes to employees' availability, SAP SuccessFactors provided a clear report on leave, excess balances, their availability, working hours, headcounts, and locations. We were able to consolidate all of this information into a mass pool of data that we could easily understand, access, and take action with. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've gained some great insights.
Who doesn't love a good infographic and a great engagement video, ladies? On that note, I'd like to welcome Elise from Bingo Industries and Claire from Rizing for our live Q&A session together. Over the next few minutes, we will be fielding questions from our live viewers. So again, please write to us if you have any questions for the ladies. All right, the first question that we've got here for you, Elise, is talking a little bit about change management. Change management is obviously critical to a project's success. Can you talk us through your approach and what advice you could share to others embarking on a similar journey?
Thanks, Amy. So for us, change management was a really core focus at the outset to ensure that not only the processes were well understood by the people and culture team and our leaders, but also so that everyone was taken on the journey as we implemented. I think one of the biggest things I learned about change management was, as I said in the video, our go live was the first week of restrictions for COVID-19. So
the biggest lesson I learned was that planning's more important than the plan, because all of our change management training initiatives very quickly got thrown out of the window due to social distancing and people working from home. But what we did have was a core network of we call SuccessFactors Go People. So we had a core network of Go People champions and a lot of material developed that could be delivered via electronic means. So that was what was really important for us, being versatile and knowing when you need to move tack or change tack when you're rolling something out.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for that. Claire, we've got a question here for you. Are you able to talk us through a little bit around what it means to take a vanilla or templated approach, and what's the benefit of this versus a custom solution or system?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Amy. So when we talk about a vanilla approach or a templated approach, we're really referring to being able to leverage the solution in its out-of-the-box format and not really customizing it to support processes, which I guess we don't deem as leading practice. In a templated approach like Rising's SAP Verified Package Solutions, Synchrony People and Payroll, we've built the templates to support the hire to retire process, which leverages both leading practice and all of the out-of-the-box functionality. And for organizations coming from either paper-based processes or decentralized processes, it can be used as is with minor tweaks. And for organizations with more structured existing processes, the template may get you, let's say, 80% of the way there. And then with a little bit more configuration, it can really be made to work for you. And the benefits to this approach are that you're not starting from scratch. It gives you something to see and feel almost as soon as you start your implementation. And this then underpinned by a methodology built around enablement, it ensures that you're able to really support your own solution by the end of it. And you feel that you've got a level of comfort going through the process, knowing that what you're dealing with has been built based on years of experience and many implementations, and the processes are both leading and common. And so the discussions that you have through the implementation are different. It's not so much how can we do, let's say, recruitment in our business, but more why would this leading practice not work for us, and should we really be challenging ourselves to about how we're doing it today?
Perfect. Thank you, Claire. Elise, we've got a question here for you. You mentioned about people data being shared with your leadership team. Can you expand a little bit more on this and the experience of making people data meaningful to the business?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the core pieces for me in providing people data to our leaders is to empower them to make the right and informed decisions about their people practices, but also to ensure that we're all aligned. One of the biggest benefits that's come out of our launch of SuccessFactors is the alignment in understanding our people and using that data not separately from operational data, but combining it with operational data to learn what about the inputs from a people perspective and how that impacts the outputs that we get as an organization. So, really being able to step up to the plate and give our leaders information that has meaning and provides impact and betters our organization and our productivity and ultimately our performance has been a huge benefit for us.
I think I've heard you say, Elise, that you'd never work in HR without a data scientist again.
I did say that, definitely. It's definitely, I'm a changed woman.
Good to know. I think touching on that, Elise, one of the other questions that we've had just come through is around what other broader business benefits are you hoping to see with the technology now in place?
So one that we're experiencing at the moment is we've just gone live with our performance and goals module, and it has really seamlessly brought our strategic planning agenda through into our individual scorecards for the year. So creating the alignment of our strategy from top to bottom of the organisation is huge, because it creates a real sense of knowing and understanding purpose of every employee. But it also will help us understand, as we go through the process this year, how close we are to achieving those goals. I think empowerment is a big one that I spoke about before, and the cultural shift for us has been a fairly big one. We had leaders that didn't know what any of their employees were paid or how long they'd been here, and when their anniversaries, birthdays, etc. were, that they now have all of that. So the cultural shift that we've seen and the feeling of trust and empowerment has had a huge impact across the organisation, along with data. So I'm really pleased. We've been able to take the data out of SuccessFactors and straight into a data lake in a protected way, of course. But leaders having access to information at their fingertips to make decisions is your return on investment, as far as I'm concerned.
Perfect. Thank you, Elise. And thank you, Claire. We are literally running out of time here, but I would just like to say thank you on behalf of everyone who tuned into your session. And of course, SAP SuccessFactors, thank you for your time and for joining us today. If we didn't get a chance to get to your questions, we will endeavour to come back to you in the near future. Just a reminder to everyone listening, you can navigate to the exhibition hall and chat with either Rizing, Deloitte, or any of our other platinum and gold sponsors. It's a really great opportunity to connect with the experts and ask those burning questions. Just a final note here, this will be the close of our current session, and don't forget to stick around for the next session, which starts at 1:30. You'll need to close this window and click onto the next session.
Synchrony People, a Rizing solution, is an HR, talent, and payroll platform set to transform the way you do business. With Synchrony People, you purchase the SAP SuccessFactors licenses from Rizing, and then we populate our prepackaged solutions and processes, turn on the out-of-box reporting, and let you choose a level of application maintenance support that fits your needs. And it's delivered with our thoughtful methodology, Boost, in as little as 8 weeks. Synchrony People Core HR is just one of the many modules that makes up the Synchrony People solution. From payroll to talent acquisition to talent management, the solution can grow with you as your organization grows too. To find out more, head to rizing.com.